We finally got a hitch out of Hanksville after waiting about 2 hours. It's about 2 o'clock now, but we should still be able to make it. There's a abandoned mine about 10 miles from here. We're trying to make it there to have something a little sheltered to camp in tonight. It's supposed to get pretty cold. We're taking the lower elevation alternate through the Henrys. They're still very snow covered. It looks like it's storming up there right now. Mountain forecast said it's supposed to get into the low teens up at high elevation tonight, so we're not exactly prepared for that. Plus we don't want to post hole through snow all day. You might have guessed from the scenery, but we had a little bit of a snowstorm last night. It didn't get too crazy cold though. We had a really nice campsite that was really well protected from the wind and had a lot of pine duff underneath us to keep us warm. We're still on the main Hayduke trail, which means we're going up, but we're about to hit a fork where we're taking a lower elevation alternate, and the regular Hayduke keeps going higher and higher, up to about 10,000 feet, I think. And it's just going to be too snowy up there for us. Even though the snow is not the most convenient for backpacking, it really puts me in a pretty good mood because, one, I'm a big time Christmas guy, and I know we're 9 months away from Christmas, but snow always makes me think of it. And it also makes me nostalgic for growing up in Indiana and playing in the snow when I was a kid a lot. I should probably get into some more winter sports. I've got a neighbor back in Albuquerque that offered to teach me how to backcountry ski, so I might have to take him up on that next winter. Really glad we didn't take the high elevation route because we would just be getting soaked by that cloud right now. I'm going through Penn Ellen Pass right now, and we're finally starting to drop in elevation. The sun's coming out, starting to warm up a bit. Probably stop here for lunch pretty soon and change into some clothes that aren't so warm. And yeah, it should be pretty smooth sailing the rest of today. We're pretty much done with the Henrys, and we'll be back in the flatter desert. So this descent down into this canyon, it's not like the steepest we've done, but it's probably the loosest as far as the terrain goes. I'm letting Jose get all the way to the bottom before I start, since it's so loose I don't want to knock any rocks down on him. And watching him go down, I've seen him slip and almost fall probably 5 or 6 times already. The good news is, even though it's really far down, it's not so steep. I don't think a fall would be fatal. I think, unless you fell ass over tea kettle and hit your head on a bunch of rocks on the way down. All right, made it down off of this thing, the steep parts at least. we started kind of over here and then like traversed across and then came down the chute right here. Started off the day in the mountains and the snow. I was in really good spirits. Then sometime around noon, some thoughts started creeping in that had no business being there, and I got myself into a really bad mood. I'm feeling a little better now, but it's always kind of hard to deal with that stuff on trail. There's not really a way to distract yourself too much, and I usually end up kind of using it to motivate me and hike a little harder. I don't know if that's the healthiest thing or not, but it's kind of what I did today. Just put on some music and hiked fast and got some miles behind me. So hopefully tomorrow's better. It's a really beautiful morning. It's kind of overcast and cool, but not windy. It's probably my favorite hiking weather. We're on this alternate called Under Tarantula Mesa. The main Hayduke is still up there on the mesa itself. We're kind of doing this cool off-trail version that drops down part of the way and then wraps around, and then we'll meet back up with them kind of over here somewhere. Yeah, just a fun little drop down. There's these cool like sandstone blonde rock formations. Kind of reminds me of Tent Rocks in northern New Mexico. That's coal. A whole band of coal through this area. This is probably our last good views of the hen race. We were over there yesterday morning and we've traversed all that way. Now we're walking up this really steep switchback road up to Capitol Reef. It's another chilly, overcast day. We're down in Lower Muley Twist Canyon now. It's super cool down here. The rock formations are really weird and almost alien looking. Yeah, we left a cache just outside of the canyon, and we miscalculated how much food we'd need. So we have 2 days extra, which sounds like a better problem to have than not having enough, but it makes our packs heavy, and that is always a bummer. It's been raining all morning, which it's kind of nice because it makes the sand in the bottom of these washes easier to walk on. Kind of packs it down and firms it up a bit. But it's making me a little nervous because either later today or tomorrow morning, we're going to be going through some narrow slot canyons that are prone to flash flood. So, not really sure what to do about that. I guess just play it by ear. So it's been raining for probably over 4 hours now, and we're in not a slot canyon, but a pretty narrow area. It's a little sketch. It looks like it's gonna open up here pretty soon. We're thinking the slot canyons that we need to go through tomorrow morning might not be the best idea unless it stops raining pretty soon and all this drains out. So we're hoping we can find a cave or somewhere dry to eat lunch and look at our maps and see if there's anywhere we can bail out. We're in a pretty deep canyon right now, so not sure what the situation is going to be for climbing up out of here, especially when it's wet, and the sandstone gets really slick when it's wet.
We have like 7 more miles to get to his ult.
We decided to hole up in this cave for a while and kind of try to warm up and dry off and figure out what we're gonna do. And while we've been sitting in here, this kind of, I don't think I'd call it a flash flood, maybe like a surprise creek started flowing outside, and it's just been, it finally stopped snowing, but the little flash flood has been getting heavier and heavier. So I think what we're gonna end up doing is bailing on the narrows. Neither of us have enough experience canyoneering and stuff like that, so don't really feel safe going in there while it's rainy and there's already some flooding happening. So we're probably just gonna hike back out the way we came in. And when we get to the top of Muley Twist Canyon, either hitch to Escalante or take a route that doesn't go into canyons to get there. The downside of that plan is either way we're gonna have to cross the Escalante at some point, which is probably also pretty swollen and flooded. So yeah, we'll see what happens. This wasn't here at all just like an hour ago. All right, so here's the plan. Since we hiked down lower Muley Twist Canyon and before the Slot Canyon, we got spooked by the flash floods. We hiked all the way back out to where our cache was the day before, which means we did 20 bonus miles, a little over 20 miles. And then now we're gonna take one of the alternates that comes into Escalante from the east. So we'll be north of where all that stuff was. We bumped into an older couple at the trailhead and they had seen the weather and said the weather looks good for the next few days. So we're gonna hike about 42 miles along this alternate and then get to a trailhead that hits the highway and try to hitch that last like 15 or 16 miles into Escalante. All right, I have a confession to make. There's something that's been going on that I haven't talked about, and that's that starting around Hanksville, I started getting like some pain and itchiness in my hands, backs of my hands, and that's turned into some kind of rash or allergic reaction. I'm not really sure what happened though. I don't know if I touched a plant or if it's some kind of sun poisoning or allergic reaction to something else. But today it finally got bad enough that it was really, really painful. It still hurts really bad. So I decided that I'm gonna walk this dirt road to the nearest paved road and try to hitch into Escalante and maybe see if they have a clinic or something, or at least try to get one of those Benadryl anti-itch stick things and treat this rash. But yeah, I was hoping it would go away on its own, but it's just getting worse and worse, and that's worrisome. So we're taking a zero in Escalante. We were able to hitch in here last night. We got 2 really lucky hitches because we were really in the middle of nowhere. So we decided to take a zero here so I could try to let my hands heal up. It's this crazy rash. It's actually looking better today than it was yesterday, but yeah, it was very painful on trail, especially with the sun beating down on it. I've got some cortisone cream, and I was able to check in with some friends and family that are in medicine, and they were able to give me some advice. So hopefully hit the trail again tomorrow.